Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we'll go over 3 dealership services that you should avoid because they're not 100% honest. So don't let the dealer pressure you into buying these services. All right, so we're going to go with number 3, which is the 4-wheel alignment. Now, on most alignment jobs, the only angle the technician is able to fix on the spot is going to be your toe angles. If your car has a camber issue, then that's going to require the purchase of camber bolts to fix that issue. And if your car has a caster issue, then most of the vehicles don't have caster adjustments unless you buy a specific caster kit which could go on top of the struts, and with that you could change your caster angle. But most of the time when the dealerships is selling you a 4-wheel alignment, they're only going to fix the toe angles. And if you have a compact car with a torsion beam axle in the back, so for example that's like a Kia Forte, Hyundai Elantra, Chevy Cruze, Toyota Corolla, so they have a really simple rear suspension setup which is called a torsion beam axle. And for the rear, there's no adjustments at all to be made during an alignment, and most of the time the angles in the rear suspension on a torsion beam axle vehicle is in the green. And if there is an issue, then most of the time it's an indication of the car being in a wreck. Since there's no adjustments to be made in the back with a car with a torsion beam axle, if you have issues, then most of the time you're gonna have to replace the whole torsion beam axle, which could cost upwards of $1,000, $1,500 depending on the make and model, and of course depending on the labor. So that's why a 4-wheel alignment is not completely honest when it comes to compact cars, since we're only fixing one angle, which is the front toe. And unless you bring the shop or the dealership camber bolts, then most likely they will not try to fix your camber issue. So for the cars that do have adjustable rear toe and camber, a 4-wheel alignment starts to make a bit more sense, but not so fast. If you live in the Rust Belt or in really cold climates, the older the car gets, the camber and toe adjustments in the back are nearly impossible because the bushings and the camber bolts are completely seized. So there's no point in trying to turn them and trying to adjust toe angles and the camber angles in the rear. But the dealership and the garage is going to sell it as a 4-wheel alignment, although you cannot adjust the rear toe and camber if the underneath of the car is really rusted and these bolts are just frozen. Now, I've done alignments at the dealership that I worked at, and I live in a colder climate area where the cars that are starting to get to 5 or 6 years old, the rear bolts for the camber and toe adjustments are completely frozen. So all I can do in that situation is just adjust the front toe angle. But the dealership is still going to charge the customer as a 4-wheel alignment, even if I just adjusted the front. And also they'll charge the full alignment price, even if I just adjusted one side of the front angles. So say I adjusted only the front left toe, and that's all the car needed to have all its angles in the green, then the dealership is still going to charge the full amount of the alignment, which is around $119.99. Usually it's 1 hour of labor at the shop rate. So that's the reasons why the 4-wheel alignment are not completely honest. All right, service number 2 is going to be the engine flushes. So sometimes we'll have customers come in and they've neglected their oil change, and by opening the oil filler cap, we could see the buildup of sludge that is starting. So most of the time the advisor is going to recommend a engine flush, and that's the chemical that you put in through the oil filler cap into the engine oil so it could circulate and start cleaning some of the sludge. And they're asking us to run the engine for about 10 to 15 minutes until the cleaning is complete. Now, there's a few problems with adding the chemical into the engine oil. Number one, it's going to dilute the engine oil, and it's going to affect the viscosity of the engine oil as you're running it for 10 to 15 minutes. And number two, they're charging around $100 to $150 for that engine flush where I worked at, and you can't really see results after you've done the service. It's kind of a waste of money because you're not really cleaning most of the sludge with that chemical running inside the engine. If you wanted to maintain your engine and maintain the bearings and the cams and avoid any buildup of sludge, all you had to do was follow your engine oil maintenance schedule. There's a lot of detergents already in these engine oils that help to clean out the inside of the engine and avoid the buildup of sludge. That's why a one-time engine flush isn't going to do much. And even if it did a lot of cleaning, where is all that sludge going to go? Is it going to be caught in the oil filter? Or is it going to be circulating around the engine and possibly clog up some oil galleries? So that's why if they claim that that chemical could clean a lot, then it's probably going to do more damage, so it's going to clean off a lot of sludge and debris, and all that is going to be circulating around your engine oil. And if they claim that it doesn't clean that much, then most of the time the service is useless. All right, and now for the number one service that is not completely honest and kind of a scam is the intake valve cleaning. So it's very similar to the engine flush, but this time they hook up an apparatus with a chemical cleaner inside and also with shop air to blast into your intake manifold to help out clean the carbon buildup on the intake valves. And that issue is mostly for GDI engines, which is gasoline direct injection. And the problem with GDI engines is the carbon buildup onto the valves. with port injection, you won't have that issue as much. So similar with the engine flush, if that cleaner claims to clean out the intake valves, where is that carbon buildup and all that debris and dirt going to go? Is it going to go into the combustion chamber and get burned off? Or is it going to cause damage if that loose debris finds itself into the combustion chamber? Now, the best service to do to clean up the carbon buildup on the intake valves is going to be the walnut blasting. So if you have a GDI engine and looking to get that service done, I would suggest to find a shop that does walnut blasting, because you're going to see the best results with that, and that's going to be the correct way of cleaning off carbon buildup on your intake valves. So avoid the intake valve cleaning with the chemical if your dealership or garage offers it to you. It's going to be a waste of money, especially if they're charging $100 or $150 or even $200 for that service. You won't see a significant change. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you took a lot of value out of it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.